Yeah, it's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're testing the myth whether hip waders will pull you down and drown you, or you can swim with them on. So we're gonna find out. So let's just suppose you're in the duck boat and you got your trophy mallard coming in, and you got your buddy Shock in the back of the boat, who he's a big guy, but he's still a legend, and he sees this huge snake.
You're okay, Snake. You're okay, baby.
Now we gotta remember, if we see Uncle Shock loves snakes. So we got to give the snake to him, okay? And he stands up and moves, and guess what happens as you're going to pull the trigger on your trophy mallard? Over the side you go. Kind of like this. All of a sudden, poof, there goes the boat. Okay, so I did notice that when I went over backwards head first like that, it did blow a bunch of air up into my feet. So when I first went down, I was trying to pull my feet up, just went into a tuck, swung back. Right now I'm not using my feet at all, I'm just using my hands to tread water. So at least with this type of waders, what?
It's not very heavy.
No, you can't tell the difference at all, which is kind of what I suspected.
Hell yeah.
The water in the waders is the same weight as the water outside the waders. On this part, when I went in, I did notice that there was so much water pressure that it pretty much just sucked the waders tight to my body. And we're thinking maybe it was just that type of waders. You'll see what happens when you use neoprene here in a little bit. But there was very little water that actually got in. What I did notice is there was air that was down in my boots, so I had to kind of burp them. Basically what that means is if you point your toes toward the bottom and then kick straight down, it'll let that air bubble work its way up through your legs and then pop out. And that stops your feet from wanting to swing up above you. In this part, I actually had to open up the waders on the top and try to fan more water into them because there was very, very little water going in. I would imagine if you used a wading belt or a cinch where you pulled it tight around your chest, you probably wouldn't get hardly any water in there at all. Let's go find out if I can get back in the boat, which I kind of doubt that'll happen, but obviously you're watching me swim right now.
It's not too hard. I got fins on, so I'm good.
Looks like I'm retaining a little water. I gotta watch my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Nice. My dive boots.
Got a nice shirt on there.
You have my dive boots on?
Whew. No, I got mine.
You have my dive boots on?
Whew. No, I got mine.
You have my dive boots on?
Whew. No, I got mine.
So now we're gonna try the same thing, but we're gonna use neoprene waders, which I highly doubt that these will be a problem because neoprene is the same stuff that wetsuits are made out of, and you can't even go to the bottom without a weight belt when you're wearing a wetsuit. So I'm thinking that these are going to float way better. I can see where they could fill up with water. You'd have a hard time climbing back into a boat or back onto a dock, but you guys watch me swim back, go back in the boat with the other waders on. We'll do the same thing with these. I'll show you what's going to happen. Actually, I can tell there's a lot of air in my feet. I'm trying to keep my feet up. The second set we tried was a neoprene, and these did exactly what I thought that they would do. They floated. just like a wetsuit for scuba diving or wakeboarding or anything like that.
Look at that. It's hanging out.
These also suction tight around my body, so not really that much water got into these either.
So you're not sinking at all?
No, I'm just sitting here floating. Now let's go see if I can get back in the boat with them on. Swimming is not a problem. That was like almost too easy.
Yeah, you definitely floating.
Alright, so neoprene isn't a problem, like I figured it wouldn't be. It's just like a dive suit. But I guess depending on how you fell in, even if you fell head first, you have more air in them. With the burp them, all you gotta do is just get your feet straightened out, kick your feet, point your toes, air will burp back up out of them, and then the neoprene itself will actually help you float. Okay, so you guys seen me get back in the boat using a swim platform with the waders. These particular waders do have a cinch where you can pull it tighter around your chest, almost like a wading belt. If you did that, I could see where you have a lot less water in them. But eventually water's going to get soaked down in there, but it actually pulled it so tight around me that not much was getting in it. So climb back in there. What?
I got a really good shot at it cinch to your body.
Cinching?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you had to, what I would do, you know, if you couldn't get back in, you had too much water in them so you could lift it, is just cut them, rip them. Yeah, but Chad, they're expensive waders. Yeah, you know what else is expensive? Is a funeral. Okay, so if you don't have a platform on that, which a lot of people don't, I'll show you another way to get back in the boat. Because a friend of mine who was out swimming, a bigger guy with his kids, jumped out of the boat and he couldn't get back in. He didn't have a ladder, and his kids weren't strong enough, they were little kids, to get him back in the boat. So what they ended up having to do was have him hang on to it, and they kind of basically towed him back to shallower water where he could get in. But what a lot of people don't know on these bigger boats, I'll show you right now. Obviously you're going to want to make sure your motor's shut off.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to use this guy to put me back in the boat. So there you go, that's how you get back in your boat if you don't have a ladder and you're too tired to get in. Alright, so you've fallen in, you got your clothes on, you're out in the middle of the lake or whatever, drifted away from the boat, you're wearing pants, whatever happened to happen to you. I'll show you guys how to make a life jacket out of your pants. This part's a little bit, the difficult part is getting them off while you're in the water, treading water. The best thing to do is hold your breath.
And just give her.
All right, when you're trying to make a life jacket out of a pair of pants, the hardest part initially is getting the pants off underwater. So just take your time. You're not going anywhere anyway, so just take your time, be careful, make sure you have a full breath when you go down to try and pull them down so you can get your head back up out of the water. Now we're gonna have a pants off party. You want to take the two ends, your ankles, and tie them into a knot. In this part, you want to tie the ankles of the pants into a knot. That's what's going to hold the air from coming out, and then you're going to hold the waistband. That way, as it loses air over time, you can blow air back into it and keep it filled up to whatever level you want. Now you can either flash it and boom like that. Or you can go under and blow it in.
Oh wow.
And then you just hold the waistband. There you go.
Now you don't have to tread water anymore.
Right.
And it's on your neck. That's perfect. Like and subscribe.
That's how you make a life jacket out of a pair of pants. This is what I was curious on, is if like women's...
I only got one shot of you blowing air into it.
That's okay. If women's like the spandex yoga pants will hold.
It's like a balloon.
Nope.
Not at all.
So the yoga pants like that will not hold air, but on behalf of red-blooded men all across the country, please don't stop wearing yoga pants, ladies. We'll be happy to give up our Levi's to you. Keep you from drowning. So there's one other thing that I was wondering. I was wondering actually how hard, neoprene I think it'd be really hard, but these other type of layers, I wonder how hard it'd be to get them off in the water, because if you could get them off, you'd have the perfect life jacket that would hold air in it virtually forever. So I got my scuba buddy hanging out in case I start drowning. He can save me, but we're gonna give it a try. See how hard these bad boys are to get off underwater. All right, ready?
Yeah, hold on.
The only waders we didn't try were the old heavy-duty rubber ones. I don't know if they even make those types anymore, but if I come across some, we will do an update on it. I don't know what those would do. I know they're heavier, but I still don't think, even with water in them, that I don't see how they could pull you down. The water doesn't weigh anymore. The waders might weigh more. Like I said, if we find a pair of those, we'll test it and update it, let you guys know what happened. But as far as the new types of waders, the thin ones and the neoprenes, you guys seen what happened? It is what it is. Here we go. At least with those type of waders, you can get them off. They make a great flotation device. I'm saying.
Hell yeah, you can float your way back to the boat now.
Yeah, I can. All right, they're filling up now.
He's testing him first to make sure he doesn't actually drown.
All right, we're 5 seconds in. Waders are full of water. I'm calling bullshit right now because I'm sitting here treading water just fine.
I don't know if you can hear him out there, but he said they're filled up with water now. and he's calling bullshit because he can tread water just fine with full waders. So
okay, we're back from filming. The one of the things I forgot to mention is we filmed this in a lake where there was no current. So what you've seen us do does work if there's no current like that, but if you fall into a river where you go down with waders, you're going to be in, that's where you're going to be in big trouble, because they will catch water just like a parachute. But the only thing you can do is, normally what they say is if you fall into a river, everybody knows you want to swim across the current to try to get back, but they tell you to go feet first so the current doesn't bash your head into a bunch of rocks and stuff. The problem is that if you're wearing waders, they fill up with water, and then that current's going to take you almost like a parachute wherever the current's going. You have no control. So it's kind of a catch-22. Either you bash your head or you drown. So what they advise is people to go head first down the river so that you can try to keep your waders tightened up so that the current can't control you, and still try to swim across current to the shoreline. Again, if you fall into a river with chest waders on, you're going to be in big trouble. I can see where that could be very, very dangerous. So just be careful out there, guys. But what we did was in the lake, no current. We went in a controlled environment. We're all three scuba divers. We had a scuba diver right there with the gear on just in case something didn't go as we figured it would. But everything went well. Hope you guys learned something, and we'll see you on the next one.